About time, Cr'aig. I cannot believe it took you 45 minutes to get my Chinese food to me, and then you bring it in a box. Not a bag, not a brown bag, not a brown bag inside of a plastic bag. It's stapled together for some reason, because that's how most Chinese food is delivered. But you bring it to me in a wine box. An empty wine box. Please explain that. Just explain that.
Chinese food should only ever be delivered in a brown paper bag. Just saying. That's a requirement.
Not a wine box.
No, brown paper bag. End of story.
Explain yourself, Cr'aig.
He's not going to. He's just gonna sit there quietly. But anyway,
quietly and ignore us. What's going on, Jay?
Same as always. Doing a podcast on what is today? Sunday.
You're supposed to say, that's good, Christopher. You're supposed to establish that my name exists as well.
You should give up on that shit right now. We've been doing. We're up to episode like 90. I think in total we're close to 100 podcasts or something. And I think twice, maybe 3 times ever, have I done the intro. So,
well, anyways, we are getting close to 2 years. We should eventually turn this into professional kind of recording, but I guess we can give it another 2 years.
Yeah, and then another 2 after that. You know how this goes.
So what's good in the world of D&D?
I don't know. Is there any news that's come out recently? Because I haven't heard anything.
No, there's no news.
Okay.
There's miniatures that I showed off on the stream that we had during the week. Those are new coming out. But beyond that, everything's announced into the end of the year.
Well, I have seen some Magic the Gathering stuff that is D&D characters.
They are releasing a commander set. Yep. So
I have seen
extra expensive.
I've seen the Elminster. I've seen Miracle. Bane, I think, was one of them.
Yep.
So they're actually releasing a couple of the gods.
There's a couple. There's a new Volo. There's a new Minsk and Boo. I think there's a new Dritz.
I haven't seen any of those, but there might be.
I have a link to them. We'll definitely review them on stream. Probably on Thursday or something like that.
Definitely not going over it tonight. Just throwing it out there that hey, those are on the way soon.
Zenergy did ask that I come to the store and actually run a Baldur's Gate module for people, and I'm trying to set that up. And I just don't know what Baldur's Gate module to run. I may just have to just do the new book and just run that,
I don't know. But make one up. Just say it's in Baldur's Gate.
Well, the thing is that when AFR came out, the first D&D set, they released a actual module to go with that. Yeah, they actually made their planeswalkers, gave them stats, and you played the game. And they didn't do that for this one. At least I haven't seen one as of yet, which is kind of disappointing.
Yeah, it's pretty early, though. Maybe they have something else to go with it.
The pre-release is like in a weekend or 2.
Oh, well.
It would be out by now.
I stand corrected then. I don't pay attention to when Magic releases are anymore because honestly, it's like every 3 weeks there's a new set. I've just given up. I've given up trying.
Yeah, it's insane how fast they roll out with new stuff.
Yeah, seriously, like new Capenna was 3 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago?
Yeah, it was literally 2 or 3 weeks ago, and now apparently the Dungeons and Dragons Commander set is in another 2 or 3 weeks. So okay, a month and a half. Every month and a half, it's something new dropping. Unless I'm made of money, which I am not, I can't keep up with this. It's not even worth trying.
And then on top of that, there's like 3 different products and extra commander sets coming out all the time, and just it's impossible. Like every card now has like 6 variations that you have to buy. That's why I like D&D, man. There's a rule book. You buy the rule books you like. You buy the ones you don't buy the ones you don't like. And
most
at the end of the day, just make up the rules anyways.
Covers. They get 2 covers usually, and that's it. Yep. And you don't ever have to buy any of them. It's not required. It was funny. There was somebody on the DM resources the other day who was talking about the changes in Mordenkainen's and when should he introduce them? Should he just make it now, or should he do it, with the start of his next campaign? And then there were multiple responses that I saw were, "Dude, this isn't a software update. You don't ever have to use any of them," which
Actually,
I'm in agreement with. You don't.
well, it's funny you brought that up. The Adventure League DMs kind of brought up the fact that the Adventure League announced that they are officially moving to Mordenkainen's, and any character that is not Mordenkainen's still exists, but can't be used.
Sure, but that's a thing
Yeah.
run by WotC.
When
They want people to buy their product, so they're going to
yeah
force switches for homebrew and house things you run at your house. You don't ever have to make any changes. You just don't.
yeah. So beginning September 1st, when season 12 comes out, or 13, whichever one it is, Mordenkainen's is required. You can't use the old stuff. You have to use the new book and use the new monsters. I was actually playing my game this weekend. I was actually using the new monsters, and it's very weird. Like they're all like 5% different now. It feels like
Mhm.
my biggest thing is like the Durgar hammerers. Like you used to be able to like attack the hammerer, the actual Durgar inside the construct machine that he was in,
Right.
and he would then get a free attack against you. But you would also deal more damage to him, which is kind of cool. But the idea of attacking parts of a monster really isn't a thing in D&D.
Yeah,
So
it's never really well. People used to do like called headshots occasionally back in second edition, but I don't even think there was rules for that. That was just something that a lot of DMs did
yeah,
or allowed.
so now they took that rule and they just said, hey, whenever he gets attacked and it hits, he immediately attacks back with a hammer attack. And what's
Mhm.
weird is the way it's written, the his attack happens once he gets hit, but before damage is dealt. So
Okay.
really weird, and it can really break an encounter because like if you're a player, you're like, oh, last ditch hit, oh, I hit him, oh, hammer to the face, I'm dead,
Uh,
and no
oh,
damage goes through.
yeah, that's a little weird doing it that way. I actually run a homebrew rule myself for my own campaigns where if two people are on the same initiative, whatever they're doing goes off, period. So if the PC is on initiative 16 and the monster is on initiative 16, they both get their attacks.
Hmm.
They will do movement in order of initiatives, but otherwise, they both get their swings, they both get their spells, etc.
Well, who goes first?
Who would move first would be whoever had the worst dexterity,
The
usually.
worst,
Yeah, yeah. The
not the
reasoning,
best.
no, you don't want to do the best because that actually tends to screw over whoever has the highest initiative. You want the one with the worst initiative to move because then the person with the better initiative can respond in kind. Make
Okay.
sense?
So what if they don't move and they attack instead?
If they don't move, uh, look, I've never run into the issue of that happening. It's this is always a situation of they just move and do their thing. Uh,
Does
if
a better initiative get the attack first?
quit fucking with me. Never had problems with it in my campaign.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I've heard this rule for like 3.5 seconds. I already have some questions.
Yes, that's fair. I will have honestly, I've run into that happening only a couple of times before where it was ever
Hmm.
an issue. Uh, I've never had actual problems with it.
I think I don't know if it's the raw rule, but I think everyone goes by whoever has the better dexterity wins the tie.
That is typically the case. Yes.
Um, D&D Beyond, when I use that and like roll, and there's like monsters or players that have the same initiative, it just puts whoever the hell it wants first. There's
Yeah.
no rhyme or reason to it. It
Yeah, but
just goes, oh, you're first.
yeah, it's because the D&D initiative system is stupid. It's never been good.
Yeah.
I know I have talked about it before on second edition, where they actually had a variant rule where speeds, like if you were using a larger weapon, you had a negative to, like your initiative would be worse than somebody who is using a smaller weapon. Spells, depending on the spell, it had a cost based upon the level of the spell, I think. And
Yeah.
that system worked out better because you had a lot less issues of people being on same initiatives with, same dexterities and shit.
Yeah. So one thing I definitely want to talk about, not in this podcast, probably in the next one, because I'm still kind of going through everything and kind of parsing the data, is all the new race changes. Because there are a lot of people who are out there crying and complaining about how bad their race is now. And a couple of quick examples are like, the Aarakocra and the Yuan-Ti. They've lost, like, the Aarakocra lost its flying speed and a couple other things. The Yuan-Ti are no longer immune to poison and stuff like that. And what was really weird is all these people are kind of complaining about this on Reddit and on Facebook, and when I'm just looking at it, and they're like, "Oh, no one's ever going to play an Aarakocra now that it doesn't have a flying speed of 50 at level 1." Well, the inverse of that is DMs are just banning characters with flight at level 1. They were banning the Yuan-Ti right from the get-go because it's just a very powerful race. They got like cantrips and shit along with it too.
Yeah.
You know? So it's very... Yeah, they brought a lot of races online, and they don't feel as good as they used to. Kobolds not having pack tactics, for example, is very weird. But, all races kind of go now. They're all kind of just all mediocre now.
Yeah,
So there's no...
WotC's doing what WotC does. They're making it as bland and boring as possible. Everything has to be equal.
Yeah.
I'm never a fan of that.
No.
I just am not. Aarakocras, I don't like Aarakocras, but they're fucking bird people. They should be able to fly. They live in the trees, man.
Well, they can still fly, but it's only equal to their move speed. So it's instead of
Well,
550, it's 530 now.
okay, well that's a bad example then. I don't care. 30 foot versus 50. All right. But yeah, like the Yuan-Ti, I know they were pretty goddamn good. But you know what the problem is? You're a Yuan-Ti. You're evil, and everyone fucking hates you.
But there's no alignment in 5th edition.
Yeah, well, that's WotC being bad on things. Yuan-Ti are historically in D&D have always been a wickedly evil race. That is their race, species, whatever you want to call it. They're terrible. It's just like Dark Elves. You're supposed to be hated everywhere. That's the drawback to fucking playing it.
With slippery snakes.
Yeah. Kobolds are not supposed to be liked everywhere. They're generally a nuisance and evil. Yeah.
But they're liked everywhere, though.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the unfortunate part is no matter where you go, everybody loves a kobold.
No.
Yay, kobolds!
No, you
Yay, kobolds! Listen, when I go to the store, when I go down to my brick and mortar store, and I just stroll right into this energy, and I go over to D&D section, guess what's there? A stuffed kobold that I can buy and hug and squish and love. Kobolds are awesome. They're all chaotic good now.
I'm gonna start making plushies of kobolds that are evil and wicked looking. They all have like sharp knives that are real knives.
Little boy, you go play with this. Oh god, my eye! The kobold stabbed me in the eye.
Right, because kobolds are evil. They're bad. I mean, it's a thing, man. Certain races were supposed to be better, but the detriments for playing them were supposed to be rough. I know, like, Dark Elves actually used to have magic resistance as just an innate thing. They all had levitation. They all had darkness. These were just things every Dark Elf had starting out. But if you went,
Dritz showed up and ruined it all.
This was even after Dritz. Like, this was 3rd edition. Dritz had been around since 2nd edition. It was just, you're a fucking Dark Elf. You're evil. You're not good. Everyone hates you.
But not anymore.
Yeah, and that's WotC's fault. I don't ever have to worry about it because I don't allow them in my campaign. But for all the poor bastards who do, you're getting screwed. But at the same time, dark elves are now just, oh, look, it's just another elf. So
Well, they all have dark vision, so that's good, right?
yeah, I guess they get the 120-foot dark vision. So there is that.
So on dark vision, I posted a post to the Grumpy Dungeon Master Facebook and Twitter, and it was just something I found on D&D
I
Reddit.
know exactly where you're going, but go
Yeah,
for it.
and it was a really cute DM's up there, and he's talking about, all right, so you're all in a dark room, and like everybody in the audience screams, "Oh, I have dark vision," because everybody has dark vision now.
Which is not
And
true. I have 2 people in my campaign that don't.
shut up, yes I do. But I shared it out to a couple other groups as well too, just cause. And one of the groups I shared it out to on Facebook is called the D&D Uncensored group, and it's just where people put a lot of like more adult themed D&D stuff, not safe for work stuff because that's not allowed on Facebook, but a lot more kind of like more adult themes instead of kiddie themes. But anyways, I posted it there, and my post blew up. Like I hit everyone's trigger word, it seems, and the trigger word is dark vision.
Oh
It
yeah.
had like 200 comments, and it's really weird because all it is people saying how much they hate dark vision. So like one guy here is like, as a DM, dark vision pisses me off. Part of the excitement is the unknown and having hidden things to stay out of sight. And people are like, well, then stop hiding things in the darkness. Hide them elsewhere. He's like, no, D&D's too accessible now because of 5th edition. I just don't like how dark vision works. It's like, use spider webs or sandstorms or fog, and like they're just going back and forth for like 30 posts, hating on each other. One dude's trying to be constructive. You like give him other ideas than just to hide something in just a plain darkness. One guy basically said, what I do is when my players howl at dark vision is I start making things color coded. So the persona says, go through the red door. There's 2 doors.
Yep.
And they have to choose which one it is. Ha ha ha! I tricked them.
Yeah.
And some idiot responds back with
the exact wording of dark vision is you cannot see colors. The monster can see in dim light as if it were bright light. The monster can't discern color in darkness, only shades of gray.
And so, well, the guy goes, just light a torch, idiot. So I pictured this DM's been running this campaign for years, and all his players have dark vision. It's pissed him off now, so everything's been color coded, and his players are too stupid to light a torch to see what things are colored.
Oh, the odds are very high. His players didn't have a torch.
No, everyone gets them, and no one gets rid of them. It just comes in a bag.
Yeah, I don't know that anyone has torches. I know there are certain, like the Explorer's Pack probably has a few.
Yep.
I'm looking at old versions of dark vision. Yeah, it all like even from what I'm finding for first and second edition, it was pretty much the same as it is now.
Yeah.
Dark vision. I think this is the second edition. I don't have my book in front of me, but this is what I found on the internet. Dark vision allowed a creature to discern forms as in normal daylight, but only in shades of gray.
Yeah.
Monsters with this ability could see in the dark up to a certain distance. Permanently subterranean creatures often possessed superior dark vision that allowed them to see twice as far. And despite that, it actually used to be called infravision, and I remember this. But
that was actually brought up in the post.
Yeah, despite the name infravision, this form of vision did not allow creatures to see light that fell within the infrared spectrum. It did not involve heat sensing, and so lights of heat did not affect it. Because I remember that being a thing that a lot of DMs would think it did. That it could see. You basically just saw, like, remember the movie Predator, where you could see the different heat.
Yeah, that's infrared vision, right?
Yeah.
No.
Well, yeah,
whatever it is.
Because it was called infravision, they thought it allowed you to see in the infrared spectrum.
Oh, okay.
Which was incorrect.
Yeah, I'm glad they changed the verbiage, because I remember in In 4th edition, there was dim light or dim sight, and there was dark sight.
Mm-hmm.
And because dim and dark were two different settings, and
Yeah.
while 5th edition still has dim and dark, it is really confusing to discern like when dim works and when dim doesn't work. And it's just too complicated, especially on a table and you don't have the lighting and stuff. Even doing it online where I can actually do that.
It's not complicated at all.
Okay,
Okay,
all right. So I have dark vision.
Yep.
Okay, I'm in a room.
Yep.
There's a torch on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
All right, the torch is giving off 20 feet of bright and 20 feet of dim.
That is correct.
Okay, there's a monster standing in the 20 feet of dim. Does the player with dark vision see the monster in dim light?
Yes.
No.
Why not?
Because it's in dim light, not in dark light. Because it's not in bright light and because it's not in darkness, it can't see the monster in dim.
That's
by
pulling,
rules
honestly,
as
that's
written.
The rules as written. If that is the case, that's actually going back to 1st edition.
Because rules as written says if it's dim, you can't, and the monster's hiding in dim light, and you have dark vision, you can't see the monster in dim.
All right, I am going to read the actual wording of dark vision. And it seems to contradict what you just said.
No.
So a monster with dark vision can see in the dark within a specific radius. The monster can see in dim light within the radius as if it were bright light, and in darkness as if it were dim light.
Okay.
So that, rules as
so it's
written.
the opposite
Yes.
of that. So the dark vision, so they're in the dim light and they're hiding in the dim, they can't see them.
No, it could see whether it's in dim light or dark. It doesn't really matter.
But if it's hiding in the dim light, if this monster has the ability to hide in dim light, it can't see the monster that's in dim light. Like the Vanderhob.
The monster can see in dim light.
Yeah.
Within the radius as if it were bright light, and in darkness as if it were dim light.
Right. But if the monster is standing in there in dim light and they're hidden, they still can't see that monster.
I don't see why you would think that.
Because the Vanderhob says it can just stand in dim light and be hidden.
Well, that's different. That's hiding.
Well, yeah.
That's an ability to hide. That's not the same as just standing there.
No, it's just standing there, and it's hidden.
Yeah, but it's an ability that hides it. It's not the same damn thing. Okay. Yeah, a normal monster that does not have that ability would still be spotted.
Yeah. So I don't like dark vision. I just have bright and dark. That's all I use.
Okay, well, I actually...
It makes things so much easier for me, because then the lights are on, and you can see up to this range, or you can't. Which is really bad because... in an open field, I kind of usually take away all the range of vision. But like in a castle or whatnot, there's some dead on return. I give people like 120 feet of vision online for the VTT, and just kind of let it be that. And if they human or whatnot, they can't, and they know something's in dim, they can try to attack it. But I try to just turn it all off because it just makes things too hard in the virtual tabletop.
If you're running it online and that's a problem, then yeah. I run dim and darkness, but I also do mine in person, and it's never been an issue. If they're within 20 feet of the light source, bam, you're in bright light. If you are outside of that for 20 feet, you're in dim. If you're outside of that, you're in dark.
Yeah, there were a lot of modifiers in 4th edition. Like if you were standing in dim, then you had disadvantage, which was just a -2.
Yeah, 3rd edition had shit like that. Tons of it. Was just lots of math.
Too complicated. It was just too complicated. Can I see it or not? Can I attack it or not? And that's really all I want out of the deal.
The biggest thing that dim light matters for in 5e is that certain abilities can only be activated in dim light.
Yeah.
Or dim dim or darkness. Yeah.
But dim doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything negative.
No.
So what's the point?
It's just a modifier to allow you to know if you can activate abilities.
Everything is dim.
That is the case. I would have to pull it up, but I know there are some shadow archetypes or subtypes that can activate their abilities if they're in dim or darkness. Now that being said, they could have just said, activate it in darkness, and then it wouldn't have mattered. You could honestly just have light do 40 feet of light, and then beyond that, you can't see. Gets the
Pretty
same
much what I
effects.
do. Which is it's not that's not how it works in real life intuitively, but it just makes it easier to handle
Yeah.
it that way.
As a DM, sometimes you get creative. I did last night when I was running stuff. There was my players went into an area. They were actually in another plane, and it's one of my own design. Light there was kind of tricky, so they really couldn't see anything clearly past about 30 feet. There was no obvious sources of light. It was just you can only see up to 30 feet clearly. Anything beyond that is hazy. And that's
Okay.
that's DM just sort of utilizing prerogative of stuff I've created to prevent them to see every fucking thing. And my players understand this. They don't worry about it because they know I'm taking some creative liberties with shit to make
Just
it.
use a curtain, man.
Well, it makes it more creative. It makes it more fun. The DM who is complaining about I can't hide anything. You're the fucking DM, man. You can do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah, it's true.
As long as you're not fucking your players over, and as long as they understand this, that you have complete liberty to run your game. Rules be damned.
Yeah, just to have 30 feet of hazy. I think that works.
Yeah.
I mean, not everywhere, but yeah.
No, it made sense because of where they were at. They ended
It's
up.
not like they have lens crafters. Not all adventurers can see the same.
Yep, that's true. And they ended up fighting another monster in that thing that it was just off the top of my head something I had come up with, that every round it had the ability to do 3 legendary actions each round. Each one was a different attack, and I knew what the DC saves were for every one of them, but the attacks were literally off of my DM screen. At the top of it, I think it was blindness. Right under that was charm. Right under that was something else. Right under that was something else. And I just went down the fucking list. It was either wisdom or constitution saves. Very straightforward.
Yeah, I don't really use DM screens anymore, man. I've
I like
tried.
mine.
I sit down at the table and then my DM screen just blocks the entire table. Like I can't see anything that's going on, you know. So I kind of just have it off to the side now and hide to the miniatures and whatnot.
Eh,
But I don't know.
it might be the table you're at. There's a lot of things. I tend to stand up a lot when I'm dungeon mastering anyway, so it's not
Yeah,
a problem for me. Like I truthfully, I probably am standing 60 to 70% of the time when I'm running shit.
yeah. I don't stand. I just sit down. I'm not paid to stand.
I'm not paid at all. That's just how I
Exactly.
am.
Exactly. Pay your DMs. Minimum wage.
I don't complain because most of the time I get free food. That counts.
That works. Yeah. Well, I don't get free food because it's all VTT now. But every once in a while I get something free.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of free, if you have a D&D Beyond account, you can log in right now and get the Lost Mines of Phandelver for free, which I think it's always free, but they just announced it as free. All right. And you also get the Acquisition Incorporated book for free as well.
Yeah, I did
So,
see that.
yeah. So you get 2 things for free just because D&D Beyond is now owned by Wizards. And I think it's only going to be a matter of time before they rip all the legacy monsters out because, as I kind of mentioned before, I was using the new monsters and not the legacy ones for
Mhm.
all my games. So I think there's going to be a point in time where they're just going to go bloop and take it away.
Now,
Um,
have they actually released Mordenkainen's by itself already, or is it
yeah,
still just in the box set?
it's in stores right now. Yep.
Okay. Well,
No
I
more
can.
Volos, no more Tomophos.
That's fair. I still will probably not end up picking up the new Mordenkainen's because, well, I don't like a lot of the stuff I saw in it.
Well, when it comes to the monsters, it's all like if you have the other books, yeah, you technically have the monsters.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
but
there's
stuff
nothing in there that's new. It's all just rehashes and changes to things that were perfectly, more or less fine, in my opinion. So,
But I can only envision there's going to be like a 5.5 player's handbook here soon.
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
6th edition, man. 6th edition.
Or that. That is also a possibility.
But that's really all that's happened to me in this past week. So you have to carry the rest of the podcast now.
Fuck yeah. Well, that's okay. I made a list. Not a list of everything I'm talking about, but a list. Because you know me, I love lists. Favorite movies, favorite TV shows, what's the best D&D edition ever released, things like that.
Of course.
Yeah, so I have a list from 1 to 8 of what is the best school of magic.
Okay.
And these are my personal opinions, and I did a little research. I sent you that link earlier, the spells by school.
Mm-hmm.
That way we have all of that in front of us.
Okay.
And I have my side, and then I want to get your thought. So what do you, off the top of your head, what do you think is the best school of magic for D&D?
In what sense? Like what's my context? What am I?
What if you are a wizard and if you have access to all the schools of magic, but you are going to heavily focus into one of them, which one would that be? And this is wholly just for fun. There's no prizes or anything for this, and it's your opinion. Because I guarantee you, people are going to disagree with my opinion.
Well, let me think here. So what I'm thinking is like if I was a mage, okay.
Yep.
I don't want to go out anywhere and plunder any giant tombs, okay? Because that has a short, life expectancy ratio. All right.
All right.
So what I would look for is what can I use my vast magical abilities for, okay, to essentially make a profit from.
Oh, that's an easy one then.
Okay.
I wasn't thinking of it in that context, but yeah, that's.
So if I'm gonna do something where I get to be lazy, I don't have to perform or do anything. I can just show up, cast a couple spells, make a shit ton of gold, and leave. Okay.
Yeah.
Then I would think probably transmutation would be the school I would focus on. Mostly because you have great food and water. All right. You have purified food and water. You have fly. You have good berry, heat metal, levitate, plant growth. For just going out and just, hey, you want to pay me 3 gold and I will make all of your farm grow en masse. Okay, here you go. Boom. Here's a farm. Get my shit and leave.
Plant growth's a good one, yeah.
Yeah, and then I'll touch tons of other stuff. Go down to the docks and get water breathing on people so they can scuba dive and not have a problem.
I would think if you were wanting to make money, honestly, it would probably be divination or evocation. Divination's an obvious one. Oh, you need to talk to your deity, or you need me to find stuff for you. That's a pretty obvious one. Evocation, people don't think about this, but that's where all your healing spells are at. So healing word, restoration.
But that means they have to be around sick people or injured people.
I stand corrected, not restoration, but all of your heals are in there. Restoration, I think, is transmutation, maybe. I don't remember.
Yeah, but that means I have to be around people who are being injured. And
abjuration, okay, yeah, abjuration's another good one for stuff like that.
Divination. The problem with divination is then you're talking about like, oh, now you have to get involved in the gods. And while you have a couple cool ones like the tech thoughts and stuff there, but that is like that can get you into trouble.
Yeah, but you get detect magic, you get identify. People like that when there's legend lore. Locate object, locate creature, locate animals or plants.
Yeah, but it's cool, but it's very narrow. Whereas transmutation is a very broad. Like I said, I can just go out and make all the farms good, okay? Or I can start my own. Like, hey, you want to fly to the other side of the of Waterdeep? Yeah, 1 gold, and I'll cast fly on you, and now you can fly over. I can start my own transportation business because things
Yeah,
are flying better. You know,
that
and
works great
casting.
until a beholder flies by and accidentally turns off the fly spell on somebody and they fall to their death, and then you get blamed for it.
Oh, that's actually fine because then I have things like meld into stone just to get away from people.
Yeah. Goodbye. Pass wall to run away.
Yeah,
No,
cast.
I actually have transmutation as the number one best school. Also, it's
Oh
not for
yeah.
that. It's not for the money making aspect of it. It's just for the access to so much shit you can do, because there is pass wall, there is stone shape, slow, which we know how good slow is, animate objects, which is a really powerful spell early on. Uh,
Hmm.
create water, as you mentioned, dark vision. Uh, it, it's not a
Shillelagh.
yeah, Shalala. It's not necessarily the greatest combat related one, but you just get access to so many buffs and so many other things. Disintegrate is a combat spell. Reverse gravity is uh, you get polymorph, polymorph other. Like there's just so much variety in transmutation as to what you can do.
I think with enhanceability alone, you could make a
Yes.
boatload of gold.
Enhanceability lasts for how long? I don't remember. Let's see. I've got it right here. Enhanceability.
Concentration for an hour.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. No, you need to be able to move that cart. You don't have any mules. Here you go. Here's your +4 strength. Go ahead.
Yep. I would almost envision like you even start like a little organization of people who basically just like you rent out this person and they just keep casting enhanceability on you to keep you going throughout the day, like sports athletes and stuff like that. You know,
Yeah.
they pay a pretty penny to have a mage on hand every day that has 8 castings of enhanceability, and
Well,
now
I
all
mean,
of a sudden they're running
it
better.
is it's concentration, but
Yeah,
still,
yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's exactly what they would do, and it would turn into kind of like how Star Wars Galaxy was, where you land in a city and there's like a doctor and a dancer and a musician all standing there, and you go up there and pay like 10, 100 credits, and you get buffed and
Yeah.
all your stats, and you just run away and you go off and do your thing and come back in an hour and pay for the buffs again.
Yeah.
You know,
Seems
that's
like a good
exactly what
money
I would
making.
set up. Yeah. Hey, you going in the dungeon? All right, here, bam, bear strength, have fun, man.
Yeah, but I agree with the transmutation. For number two, I had evocation, and people, it is always reliable damage, and on the other side of things is all the heal spells. So evocation, it's not going to do a lot of different stuff, but it's going to be consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. Sometimes you get into a fight where shit's immune to fire, but you should also have access to lightning bolt. Fairy fire is part of evocation. Uh, at the top end, you got things like earthquake, which are pretty nasty.
So what's the worst?
The worst, I had divination. Divination, you actually have access to a very low amount of spells. I
Hmm.
think necromancy might have less, but divination, well, you can find things. That's about it. Not a whole lot you can do with divination. Yeah.
Yeah.
Arcane Eye, Foresight is amazing, but it's also ninth level. Identify, legend, lore, see invisible, true sight. But most of it's just not very little of it would be combat useful, if any, other than maybe Foresight.
I mean, I would get foresight just as like a dip into like divination, and
Well, it's a ninth
that's
level spell. That's not a dip.
yeah. No. I would dip into that if and only if there was like a stock market or a good
Yeah,
casino.
yeah. I mean, I guess if you wanted to make money gambling, this would be a really good way to do it. You contact your deity. Should I bet it all on this next roll? Then you shake the magic 8-ball. Signs point to no. Okay, I won't.
Put it on red 23.
But yeah,
All
in
the time. Every
general,
time.
I don't think it's a good one. Let's see. I had conjuration was my third. Aside from the ability to conjure all the different things you can to fight for you, it's actually pretty good combat wise as well, because you get things like call lightning, Evard's black tentacles, all of the cloud spells, fog cloud, cloud kill, incendiary cloud. They're under conjuration. And all of the stuff to go between worlds and teleportation is under conjuration also. So dimension
Yeah.
door, magnificent mansion, things like that.
You know what else is on a conjuration?
What's that?
Find Steed.
It is. Since we talked about that last week.
Yeah, and guess who decided to roll up a new character while we're playing the playtest of Dread of the Ice Devil 2? Decided to roll up a paladin and chose Fine Steed, and now I got a goddamn cavalry paladin just running around Icewind Dale on his stupid Fine Steed horse, and I can't freaking kill him. And he's like, "Oh, I'm a large creature now. Ha ha ha! Blam! I'm gonna kick you with my horse." Like, oh, I hate mounts. They're dumb.
Yeah, they can be annoying. I don't think they're
Nah, but
dumb. They are. Yeah, it's realistic. Mounts used to be pretty good,
I
but
mean, that's how I'd fight. Too lazy to stand. I'm too
yeah,
lazy to run around in a battlefield.
yeah,
Looking for the
you're not
cavalry.
getting off. You are not getting off that horse. Gonna
Can't
stay
knock
on.
me off
You're
my horse.
gonna stay on that Clydesdale until it dies.
And even afterwards, come on, yep, get it. Just the horse is dead and
Yep.
beheaded.
Just standing on it the whole time. Be really weird.
There was something like, I think in the Elden Ring game, I'm not sure how much of this is just a meme or whatnot, but like there's this big, huge guy, and he's like one of the main villains or characters in the game, and he has a small horse, but he's like a giant. He's like a frost giant to a horse. And
Okay.
he loves his horse. He loves to ride his horse. But if he rides his horse, it will die because he will just crush it. Okay.
Yeah.
So what he does is he learns gravity magic, so he can basically suspend himself
Make
and still
himself
ride
light.
his horse.
Yeah.
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 Like, oh, that's sweet.
Speaking
Just
of
get a big horse.
Speaking of giants, Jacob mentioned to me something yesterday, and it immediately gave me an idea. But at some point, I am going to run a one-shot where all of the players have to play giants. But the one caveat to it is they all have to play different types of giants.
Neat. What are they going to be doing?
I haven't got a clue yet. Hadn't quite got that far. But the idea
Giant
just...
beast.
Hey, that could be a thing. But yeah, the idea just... It sounded like fun. I mean, I know people... there used to be the... Council of Worms, where everybody played dragons. Well, I don't think there's ever been a setting where everyone plays giants before. And just running that as a one-shot could be a lot of fun. I don't know what stats I would use yet, but I'll figure that out.
Just use the monster stats.
Yeah.
That way they can choose. There's enough giants.
I could do that. Yeah, it wouldn't be that hard. I maybe not give them the exact hit points. They might have to roll for that, but they get whatever the con score and strength and intelligence and so forth are.
Yeah, I call fire giant.
No, all right. You're gonna actually show up to play.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I'm sure that'll happen. Jacob immediately did call hill giant though, so he gets to play the hillbilly of the giant clans.
Oh no! I mean, actually, that's what y'all should be. Y'all should be all hill giants, and just have it be like someone like, "Oh my God, the adventurers are coming to break our still."
Yeah.
Just you got to defend from waves of adventurers trying to come and stop the hill giant still from being taken over.
Lim dang giant boys. Yep. Just Boss Hogg showing up on your front porch with Sheriff Roscoe P. Coltrane.
And just and for some reason they have this giant like ancient brass dragon. They just call like the General Lee. They all just ride around.
Ride around on it. They actually have like a howdah strapped to the top of it. All of them, and of course, they just sort of slide across it to get inside the howdah. But anyway, I digress. I wanted to finish my stupid list of spells here. So number 4, I had Abjuration.
Okay.
So Abjuration is, as everybody knows, is primarily your buffing spells. But it also has wonderful things like Counterspell. It also has, where was it? Greater, like the restoration spells are apparently part of that too. And greater and lesser restoration are way more useful than people give them credit for.
Oh yeah.
And then there's Shield, which until Silvery Barbs was the best spell in the game, period. I actually don't know what Silvery Barbs is under. It might be Abjuration too.
It's under bullshit. The bullshit spell.
It is under bullshit. We know that for sure. Oh, right. I can't find it. Let's see. It's under enchantment. That makes sense because of how it reads, at least. So that might move enchantment up. I had abjuration ahead of it, but tough. Yeah, I think abjuration would be 4th. Enchantment I had as number 5.
Okay.
Enchantment has bless, which, as we all know, is really good. But you get all sorts of other shit like charming abilities, dominate. There's a couple of them that I hadn't thought about initially, but Geas is under that one.
Yeah, I'm trying to work that into Dread of the Ice Level 2 as the way of getting the spear away from the big bad at the end.
Yeah.
Or getting the spear to the big bad. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember us talking about that.
Yeah.
Tasha's Hideous Laughter. And there's a couple of power words that are under there. Power word kill and power word stun, which people oftentimes forget about.
Yeah, but I mean, like, still, like, all these, like, going back to, like, you have to be there. Well, I'd rather just be in the city, hanging out, at, like, the yawning portal, making my money. Oh, yeah, you're going down into the thing? All right, here's some bear strength. Come back with some gold.
Yeah, that's your way of doing it. Yeah, that's not. If you're an adventuring wizard, that's not going to help you. Like I'm looking at these more from the side of being an adventurer.
If I'm an adventurer wizard, and my job is to follow around people and not die and kill things, because that's really your job, is just to help kill things and no arcane stuff. It's still probably going to be transmutation, because that will keep me from dying.
Look, we're in agreement. Transmutation's probably the best of them.
Expeditious Retreat? Okay.
Yeah, Expeditious Retreat. That's another beautiful one. Oh, I need to run away. All right, let's do that. Catch me now, sucker.
And a lot of times, too, you only need, like, 1 or 2 spells from a different spell school to really, like, tie it all together, Mm-hmm. Like, I would definitely take Simulacrum in a heartbeat as a mage, no matter what my spell school was, just so I can make another one of me,
Yeah.
And have it do all the work.
Underneath enchantment, I had necromancy, and then I had illusion, and then divination. Illusion in general, I think, is pretty weak, but there are a couple of amazing spells in there. Blur, mirror image, and simulacrum being sort of the key ones right there.
Oh, come on. The best spell in there is Magic Mouth.
Yeah, well, I would have the most fun with Magic Mouth, but it's definitely not the best spell in there.
It's definitely the best spell in there. You make a message, it just shows up out of nowhere, this giant mouth is like, bro, you can just piss people off all day. Imagine this. You want to annoy the crap out of a noble, okay? So all you do is basically keep casting Magic Mouth, okay? And have it basically just show up in front of this noble and go, helicopters go soy, 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 like for like all 25 words. and just keeps doing it over and over and over again for 10 minutes,
Yeah.
And then,
Well,
then
it's 25 words or less. The fact that it can be delivered over as long as 10 minutes is the best part of it, because what you do is you just draw it out the 10 minutes.
yeah.
Yeah, if your message is to say you suck, I hate you, blah blah blah, and you do one word like every 20 seconds, and then you make sure it's in their bedroom, so it like it activates with snoring. That's the trigger condition. So as soon as they start snoring, which means they're out, you get one word. It's like the alarm, like the smoke alarm whose battery is dying, where it just
Yeah.
you get that little chirping noise every 30 seconds or so, and it's just fucking annoying.
Yeah, exactly. And then, they drop like 105 gold and stop the magic mouth from showing up every
Yeah,
night.
yeah. No, Magic Mouth is fun, but it's not a good spell by any means.
That's a great spell. That's a great way to get things done.
It's a great way to piss off a noble and have them hire assassins to come kill you.
Well, that's where the hypnotic pattern comes in and greater invisibility.
That's
Can't kill
fair.
what you can't see. Aha.
If you can't find me,
Oh, we killed him, sir. That's the simulacrum, you idiots.
yeah, you killed one of the mirror images.
That was a Spaceball joke.
Yep, but necromancy overall I find to be fairly uninspiring. It's not bad for killing things. You can make some undead with it. It does have resurrection and true resurrection. And there's a few decent combat spells, but you have access to so few spells. Two, three,
Yeah.
four. Yeah, like it's 25 to 30 spells total. They need
Yeah.
more. You need more necromancy spell, WotCs. Put more necromancy spells in the game.
Yeah,
So
one thing that's really weird too is True Resurrection, where I'll just read it. It says, "You touch a creature that has been dead for no longer than 200 years, and that died for any reason except old age. If
mhm.
the creature's soul is free and willing, the creature is restored to life with all of its hit points. You close all wounds, destroys any poisons, all disease, blah blah blah. It replaces all your damaged limbs and organs and everything. It's like you're just brand new again, but you keep the same age. Okay, so what the hell does die of old age mean?
I mean, it's dying of old age.
What does that mean? How did you die?
I would imagine you died of old age. I mean, look, they're not going to get super technical. Oh, he died of, asphyxiation because he, was 103 or something. He died of a heart attack, like
Yeah,
old.
because that matters. Like you get so old, your heart dies. You die of a heart attack. Yeah,
Yeah,
part of it was because you were so super
he
old.
died because his cells continued to replicate until they couldn't fucking replicate anymore.
Right. So that happens well before we all die. Or sorry, that doesn't happen. Like we die well before our cells lose the ability to continue to replicate each other. We just get really old, and then something fails and we die.
Yeah, it
Okay.
probably should say natural causes due to age.
Yeah. So that's like why Wolverine and Logan was having such a hard time. Is because his cells have a limited number of rebuilding itself, and that's why he's just getting really old and slow. It eventually catches up. His healing factor was bad and all that shit. So I need something better than just old age, because with enough magic, you can keep this guy coming back from the dead. As long as oh, is he about to die? Stab in the heart. All right, true resurrection. All right, he's good for another week, and just stab him in the heart again. You can keep someone going, for a while. If they're rich enough, 25,000 gold a pop is not that much.
I
You
mean,
know?
yeah, I've seen characters with millions of gold, so 25 grand isn't,
Yeah.
it's not unheard of. But I think if you were on the cusp of death from age, and then somebody cast True Resurrection, that is not going to alter that.
Well, here's the thing, though, is that the spell replaces damaged or missing organs and limbs, right? So
Yeah,
if I go, oh, you're really old, we think you're going to die within the next 30 days. We'll take care of it. And then you just like cut his head off. Okay. And then you put the head, you kind of like, stitch it back to his body. You take out all his old ass organs. Okay. Essentially mummify him, that process. You just take out the brain, take out the heart, all the bad organs. Okay. Flay his skin or whatnot. Bring him down just to his bones. And then
Yep.
you cast True Resurrection on the skeleton. Everything comes back fresh and new, right?
All right. And then you've basically just written your next campaign. There's this evil guy that, he's got guys just casting True Resurrection on him to keep him young.
Yeah, so it replaces damaged or missing organs and limbs. So how does it replace it? Does it replace it one for one? Does it just generate you a new one? Do the cells reset? I have too many questions about True Resurrection. It's not a lot of my campaign.
Let's see. I'm trying to find earlier
What the hell is old age?
So it used to be a thing where characters could actually die of old age.
Yes, and that'd be perfect, but those rules don't exist in 5th edition.
Yeah,
I mean, the age rules do, but
the age rules exist, but it doesn't happen in campaigns anymore. So there used to be monsters that would do life drain or age, like actually age you from hitting you. Ghost, if I recall correctly, it was Ghost. If they hit you, they would age you several years.
Yeah.
Which didn't matter if you're an elf, but if you're a human, that sucks.
Yeah.
So it was possible to be killed just through aging. Now that is obviously not a thing. They got rid of level drain and aging and all sorts of the fun stuff that used to be in the game. Well, level drain always kind of sucked, but aging was cool.
I wouldn't mind level drain, like in a really min-max crunchy campaign, like that you don't really know about. Like, oh shit, oh god dang it,
Okay.
I chose the wrong spells, so let's drain a couple levels here. The ghost like tweaks your nipple, and like you go down a level. You're like, okay, next time I'm gonna dip in a bar.
Yeah, no, it sucked too. Like you could end up back at first fucking level, man. Yeah,
and then you go up a different class then.
So the reading of Resurrection, and there was no True Resurrection, it was just Resurrection. I'm guessing this is the 2nd edition one. I found this on the internet, so don't hold me to the exact. But it says the spell cannot bring back a creature that has reached its allotted lifespan, and then in parentheses it says died of natural causes.
Mm-hmm.
So anyone who's died of natural causes.
Okay, going back to what I did about True Resurrection and all that, I just read the last line of it. It says the spell can even provide a new body if the original no longer exists. Yep. In which case, you just speak the creature's name. The creature then appears in unoccupied space you choose within 10 feet of you. So, like, yeah, you just cremate its body and like put the ashes there in a little pile, and just like, bam, True Resurrection, and now he's back. Brand new, fresh body.
It's not going to make them young. They're still going to die.
But it says
the week.
New body.
Yeah, but new doesn't mean younger. It just means a new body.
Right. What is age to a new body?
Well, if that body is the same as the old one, which it would be because this spell doesn't say anything about, it rules as written, wording and all, it's going to be the exact same body. If you were 85 years old, your new body is still 85 years old with all of the problems.
So you are still 85 years old, but it's a new body. So that knee pain you had, okay, does it? It doesn't bring you back with injuries. So any kind of warring
as D&D
and tearing it down.
As D&D doesn't actually deal in injuries. There's no permanent wounds and shit like that. It's a null point.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying this spell brings you back to the peak physical fitness as you could possibly have at your equivalent age.
It doesn't mean you're still not 85 years old.
Yeah, but if I'm infinitely 85 years old,
yeah. Well, you wouldn't be because the next time, a year later, you're 90 or 86. The year later, you're 87.
Was that Alabama math there?
Yeah.
85 plus 1 is 90.
90. I am a product of the public school system. You do not expect much.
Mm.
But anyway, yeah, the game doesn't go into that level of details, and you know it, and it never will. The intention is pretty obvious.
So what is the level 12 version of Resurrection?
What do you mean, like the 12th level magic?
Yes.
That's the one where you can bring them back from old age, give them a young body.
Well, actually, Resurrection is 7 and True is 9. I guess it would only be 11 if you just go up another 2.
Yeah. Either way, yeah, that's god tier magic or epic level magic, which they don't have in 5e.
I'm gonna do my new campaign I'm about to write.
Nice. Hey, sometimes you just have to make up stuff. I did yesterday. Yeah, I even made a ritual up to get them there.
Yeah, I made a ritual up too that a divination ritual for the Dread of the Ice Devil too, and my experienced, rules knowledge players just calling me out on shit. Like, wow, what, the priest can't help us? He just did this divine seeing ritual. That's at least a level 5 spell, and she can't help us at all. Like, no, she can't. How did one attack almost kill her? Isn't she like a 5th level cleric spellcaster? Like, what gives? Like, no, she's level 1.
Yeah.
That's a level 5 spell. Nope, doesn't count.
Yeah, that was actually the primary reason I ended up having to do that is because plane shift is 7th level conjuration, and all of my players are 8th level, so they can't cast plane shift. So I'm like, here's a ritual that does plane shift.
Yeah, here's the ritual that does plane shift. All right, guys, everyone, sit on your knees, close your eyes. And I'm gonna put something in your mouth. You just chew it and swallow it, and that's the ritual. And all it is just like an LSD mushroom.
Yeah. Yep. You're about to start seeing things. It's going to be a lot different than where you're currently at. I swear.
Ooh, I'm the guy you're looking for. Just dancing in front of him. Like black lights are off. Like that stupid like the glow posters are everywhere.
Oh yeah, the old velvet posters, the glow in the dark ones.
You just had an epic adventure. Welcome back.
And that's how D&D was in the 70s.
That's if I had a time machine, that's what I'd do. I'd go back and play D&D in the 70s. Yeah. And bitch about how terrible it is.
Oh,
I play 5th edition.
They would probably not know what the hell to think. They would think that you just ate some shrooms. But you gotta end up like fucking Tom Hanks in Mazes and Monsters.
I gotta watch that again. It's been a while.
Yeah, I still need to give you your copy of it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I think we're done here.
Yeah, we're done here. Here, we're talking about taking mushrooms and playing D&D. I think we're done.
Yep.
Bye, Cr'aig.
Bye, Cr'aig.